Hi everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm just going to show you what I've been working on while I've been quarantined at home for like the last 8 weeks. So one of the projects I've been working on during this home quarantine is the Blanket of Calm by Casa Pinka on Instagram. It's a crochet blanket and I signed up for the Row 1 Yarns mini skein club. These are mini skeins that are sent to you each month. It is on an auto ship, which you can cancel at any time. And it's yarn that's sent all by the same dyer, which she puts into little cakes so you can start knitting or crocheting right away with them. And you get over 200 grams of yarn, which is the equivalent of an entire sock skein. And all of the colors are complementary, which I really liked. So these squares down here are all from my Row 1 Yarn shipment this month. Which was Forest Fibers. These up here were just from little mini skeins that I had in my stash left over from different sock projects. And I like to keep those in just a little project bag with my crochet hook so I can work on them while I'm on Zoom calls or as I'm helping my kids with their remote learning. Another project that I've been working on is the Fret Pullover by Knit Spot Designs. It comes in two options, a V-neck and a crew neck. My husband Sean actually picked up this yarn at Rhinebeck in 2018. It is from Briar Rose Fibers, which is out of Michigan. It's a DK weight, and the skein, it looked gray with hints of blue and green, and I've been alternating skeins, doing helical knitting on the sleeves so far, and I'm really happy that they've come out so well. So far I've done about 2 inches longer on the sleeves than recommended in the pattern. My husband has notoriously long arms. He's quite tall, he's about 6'2", and so he tends to prefer a longer sleeve on his sweaters. I finished the second sleeve, I think it was last night, and cast on for the body. He would like the crew neck version, so I'm starting on that, and it's bottom up for the body. I knit both sleeves in about 2 weeks, but I definitely didn't work on them every day as I've been working remotely and helping my kids learn remotely. It's been a lot to then sit down and always get knitting in. Sometimes I just want to pick up a quick crochet project or work on one of the other projects I'll be showing. But I am really happy with how things are going so far. I'm not particularly looking forward to the body just because there is a detail down the side that is cabled, and I'm notorious for messing up cables, but I think it'll be okay. Sean has always wanted what he calls a cabled sweater, so maybe this will count. The sock that I have on the needles, I've had on the needles for a while. It's just one that I can kind of pick up and take with me. This went to a lot of swim meets this year with the kids. This is the Decathlon pattern by Sue Garfield. All the information about my pattern projects is in my Ravelry. And the yarn, which I'm loving, I don't know if you can tell, yeah, it's Sparkle, self-striping, and it is from Desert Vista Dye Works, and this is her ZN base, which is a sparkle sock, superwash, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and this colorway is called In the Cauldron. And I love her yarn, it's so fun. My daughter always calls these my Slytherin socks. They were supposed to be my Halloween socks. That's how long I've had them on the needles. But other projects always kind of get in the way. So this one kind of always gets thrown to the side. But I'm on the foot, heel is done, headed towards the toe. And I've been carrying this around in my Owl project bag with foxes on the inside, and that's from Fat Squirrel Fibers. The last project that I'm going to share with you today, I've just taken out of hibernation, so excuse all of the wrinkles as it's been stuffed in one of my favorite sweater bags. This is also another Fat Squirrel bag. This is the Breathing Space sweater. I'm knitting this out of Dream and Color fiber. I believe, are the colors in here? Oh, they are. The gray is called Cloud Jungle, and the magenta is called Sundown Orchid, and they're both Dream and Color Smooshy. The Cloud Jungle is an older set of skeins, that's why it's the old tag, and then the Dream and Color new tag for the Orchid. The reason this sweater went by the wayside is not because it's not a fun knit. It's not because I'm not excited to have the final product. I'm very excited. The issue is that it's a fingering weight sweater and it's on, I think, size 4 needles. So it's taken me quite a long time to get through it. You'll notice all my projects are on Chowgu needles, the red lace. They're my very favorite needles, and I tend to knit in magic loop more than anything else. I plan to finish the body of this sweater and get started on the sleeves. I've returned to the size of this sweater recently. I've been on another journey of weight loss, and when I was knitting this sweater the last time, it would have fit, and then I gained a lot of weight back, over 50 pounds, and so the sweater wouldn't have fit, so it went into hibernation. But now I'm down another 60 pounds, so this sweater actually will fit. So I'm excited to finish it up and to wear it. So maybe this will be one of this year's Rhinebeck sweaters. We'll have to wait and see, number one, if there's a Rhinebeck due to the current health situation, and number two, if the weather will cooperate for a fingering weight sweater. Even though it's long sleeve, it would be on the thin side, especially for outside, if it's any indication for October weather. Another thing that I've been spending a lot of my time on, well, a lot of my free time on, is making masks. I found a pattern that I like. These are reusable masks. They're double layer cotton with a thin interfacing in the middle, and then you reinforce the elastic in 3 different ways, so they last quite a long time. You can either hand wash them or wash them on delicate and then lay them flat to dry. These 2 masks are for my son and my husband. They don't tend to leave the house much right now, maybe for a ride in the car to go pick up takeout, but my son really hasn't left the house in almost 2 months. And then my husband, when he leaves the house, he's a volunteer firefighter, so he'll often wear his issued mask, but I am making him one for when he goes to do something personal instead of using his issued mask. This one here is for my supervisor at work. She needed a mask to be able to go grocery shopping, so I'm happy to be able to drop this off tomorrow when I head out to do my grocery shopping. And this is the list of other masks that I've completed or been working on. So I don't have a sewing room, so this table has been set up in our kitchen, which has been an experience for sure. I recently purchased some yarn from one of my very favorite local dyers. Chris and James are the dyers and owners of Into the World Fiber Company, and they are located in the New York area. We met them years ago at Massachusetts Sheep and Wool. I was in their fiber club and their yarn club for years and years, and they are one of my very favorite dyers, especially when it comes to speckles. This is a DK weight that I purchased. It's a 3-ply superwash merino called Handbags at Dawn, and my very favorite color is aqua, so anything to do with aqua and speckles makes me very happy. I'm planning on doing a short sleeve top out of this yarn. I haven't decided completely on which pattern I want to use. I'm still undecided, and that's why I haven't cast on quite yet, but I'm really, really, really excited to knit this. I will be alternating skeins when I knit this, just to make sure that I don't have too much pooling. There will be a little bit of pooling. There's really not much you can do to get rid of all the pooling that might happen with hand dyed, but that, in my opinion, is just part of the charm. But because this is mostly a speckle, I think we'll be okay. So even though I have more than enough projects on the needles, there's always some patterns that I can't wait to get started on. And so I'll often get the yarn and patterns ready and put them in a project bag, even if I'm not quite ready to cast on. We'll call this dream knitting. So this is knitting that I can't wait to get started, even though I can't get started on it right away. The one in this bag here, I have had wound and ready to go for well over a year, maybe even longer. So this pattern, I have it all ready to go. It's called A Girl's Best Friend, and it is a shawl that has 3 colors. I've wanted to knit it since the pattern was published. It's an Isabel Kramer pattern, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I picked up the yarn at one of the Maryland Sheep and Wool festivals, not in recent history, so it could even be in 2017. But I picked up the Kiara weight yarn, and I picked it up in 3 different colors. Japanese maple. Let's see it on that one. Thunderstorm and Old Gold. So here they are. Someday I'll knit them. I even have their needles in here ready to go. So this is definitely dream knitting for me right now. I also, in one of my other favorite fiber totes, this one is Mrs. Brown's Bags. Jody, who is one half of the Grocery Girls, has the best bags. I love her bags. This is mystery yarn. I believe that it is from, actually this might be it here. Nope. It is dyed by Blue Moon, but I don't know what the base is. I purchased this yarn from my friend January 1 when she was having a D-stash, and I know that it's a worsted weight superwash wool, and that it's hand dyed. That's all I know. And it's not showing up accurately on the screen. It's actually more of an olive. It kind of reminds me of like a tobacco leaf. It's a more of a brown olive, and it's definitely coming up as more of a mossy green on camera. But I'm going to do the Weekender sweater. I don't plan on doing it with the full amount of ease. I definitely plan to make it a little bit more fitted. That's just my preference when it comes to wear, but I'm really excited to cast that on someday. With all of the schoolwork I've been helping the kids do and trying to keep myself organized with my planner, even though we're not doing a lot outside of the house these days, there's certainly a lot that we're doing inside. I've been ordering pens from my favorite online pen shop, which is located in Natick, Massachusetts, and it's called Calliope Papery. Christina opens her shop even when she is on quarantine. She's the only one there, so you can order from her online through her website, and she has super fast customer service and shipping. I've ordered 3 Zig pens from her. All of them have different colors of ink. My favorite pens have been these Ler pens, which are a felt tip pen, but write a little bit thicker. My kids have been loving the to-do list that I've been making with these double dot pens. So it has one end that does a dot so they can check off the work, and the other end is more of almost like a highlighter end. I also have my midliners that I love, which are more like a highlighter, and then this double-ended black felt pen and these 2 highlighters. And she has a ton, oops, as I throw it, she has a ton of really great washi tape. This one is my daughter's favorite. It's all different cats, so she loves that one. Christina has greeting cards, notebooks, gifts, candy, candles, you name it, so definitely check her out. So I think that's where I'll wrap it up for this episode. I'm gonna go make a coffee and maybe read a little bit or just knit. We're gonna have burgers on the grill for dinner, so something nice and easy. Maybe next time I'll share some recipes. I did make a banana bread recipe from Magnolia Table, and my kids have already eaten half of the loaf of bread, so it must be good. Please take care. Down below, tell me what you've been working on, and I'll see you soon.